They are shooting at a car with a little girl inside. Can you imagine that?
I wrote what happened, So
Right.
being faithful to reality, you don't need to make an extra effort to humanize them like they weren't human and I'm making them human. No, they are human, they are complex, they are doing a very, very complicated job in very, very complicated circumstances. I heard the Voice of Hind Rajab on social media and
Right.
in breaking news, and I
Right.
thought that this little girl should be remembered.
There is a general level of fatigue and apathy that has kind of like taken over all of us because we're scrolling them, like you said, like between two celebrity, was that something that you were mindful about, that, it shouldn't feel apathetic at all?
My job as a filmmaker is, at least I work like this because the Voice of Hind Rajab, when I heard it for the first time, made me feel this very strong emotion, of anger and sadness and helplessness. I wanted to share this with the audience. But this movie give me faith in the power of cinema in a way, because I saw with my proper eyes the change that can operate on people, when they watch this movie. There is something deeply changing in them.
Welcome to The Wire. My name is Tatsam. Today, we're going to speak about a very special film, The Voice of Hind Rajab. Having premiered at the 82nd Venice Film Festival, where it appeared in the main competition, the film got a 24-minute standing ovation, primarily based on the real-life call recording that took place between a 6-year-old Hind Rajab and the relief volunteers of the Red Crescent. The film is a chilling document of cornered innocence and unspeakable barbarity. To speak to us about the film's difficult subject matter, its making, and its eventual release in India, we have with us director Kaouther Ben Hania. Thank you so much for taking time for this. Kaouther, the one of the first things that struck me about the film, how it humanized the Red Crescent folk. Uh, was that important for you from the beginning, that the volunteers, like, who are obviously doing heroic work, like, they shouldn't come across as flat heroes, but they uh, are more like they look and they feel more empathetic on screen? Was that important?
I mean, they are human, so I don't need to humanize them like and
Fair.
they are real person.
Fair. Yeah.
Because this story is written from the
Right.
recording and also from their testimony about what happened to them that day. So I talked a lot with
Right.
the Rana, Nisreen, Mahdi, Omar, and from their testimony, what they told me, I
Right.
wrote what happened. So
Right.
being faithful to reality, you don't need to make an extra effort to humanize them like they weren't human and I'm making them human. No, they are human, they are complex, they are doing a very, very complicated job in very, very complicated circumstances under occupation. So all this, it's them mainly.
Right. 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 The aggravated version of the genocide, like, it's been live streaming on our devices for like over 2.5 years now. Was there a part of you that was worried that, like, even the most well-meaning folks, like, they might simply not have, they would be like too disillusioned to watch a film, which is something that, like a tragedy that they're watching unfold on their on the news, and that they're watching it on their devices? Was that a concern ever, while making the film?
No, I made the film because I think that because I heard the Voice of Hind Rajab on social media and
Right.
in breaking news, and I
Right.
thought that this little girl should be remembered, and all those things make her memory forgotten, because when you are in social media, you are scrolling,
Yeah,
breaking news, you don't hear all the story. But the fact to be seated in a movie theater in the dark, learning her story for 1 hour and a half, listening her voice, this is a very different experience than what you see in your phone. Because, for
right.
example, I'll give you an example. For example, you see the images at the end of the car,
Yeah,
of the ambulance. All
yeah,
those images were all over internet.
yeah,
But when you are scrolling and you see a bombarded ambulance between two, I don't know, two star things or two
yeah.
different information, you don't have the same feeling of someone who watched the movie where you have all this team trying to send an ambulance and doing everything in their power, and then they send the ambulance that will save this little girl. When you see the image of the ambulance, you don't have the same feeling.
Sure.
uh, Cinema make us watch better and see the images with another layer of meaning.
Right, right, absolutely. Like what I actually meant to ask was like, do you had you hoped that like there would still be like people who would be completely spent, like because we I think a lot of us are a little like burnt out, like also consuming the genocide on our phones, and there is a general level of fatigue and apathy that has kind of like taken over all of us because we're scrolling them, like you said, like between two celebrity, between. Was that something that you were mindful about, that like it shouldn't feel apathetic at all, and there hopefully there will be people who will still give your film a chance.
People who will develop what?
People who will give your film a chance, and they'll like like they won't like dismiss it as as something that they've been consuming on their phones over the past 2.5 years, is what I was actually trying to ask you. I mean, it's fine if that wasn't on your mind at all and you were just focused on the incident itself.
No, when you do a movie, you focus on a lot of things, and one of
Okay.
the most important things is how the audience will receive this movie.
Yeah.
And my job as a filmmaker is, at least I work like this because the voice of Hind Rajab, when I heard it for the first time, uh, made me feel this very strong emotion, of anger and sadness and helplessness. I wanted to share this with the audience, what I felt.
Right.
So I'm using the medium of cinema with all its tools, between actors, recording, archive, all the different elements I have between my hand to make the audience feel what I felt. This is mainly
Yeah.
the operation.
Perfect, perfect. Like I love the word you used, archives, is because I think one of the strongest facets of the film is how it's kind of a paean to archiving as a vocation, like the fact that like it was archived and it was recorded by the volunteers at Red Crescent is why we it was available to you, and it as a result, like through the film, it was available to the rest of us. I think Hindrajab voice, it's kind of an example of how callously the Israeli forces inflicted violence in the region, uh, like defiling almost every acceptable standard of decency. Uh, like lots of people are going to, I have a feeling, at least like that's what happened to me. Lots of people, I think, are going to come out of the movie, like feeling a little angry. Is that an emotion that you were aiming for with the film, or was that something more that you were aiming for apart from the anger?
Yeah, I think the anger can be a great. I think we are not angry enough. The
Right.
anger, the anger, it can be a great feeling for change. And we live in a very, very, very complicated world where we need change, We live
Yeah.
in this world where when you have the biggest gun, you rule the world. This is the world of Mr. Donald Trump. And this is what Israel is doing because they have the biggest gun, no accountability, no justice, nothing, you know.
Right.
And it's a scary word. So I think we should be angry to change things also.
Right. Right. There's so much conversation about, like artists and politics at the Berlinale. And I mean, I saw the video where you refuse an award in Berlin. Like, is it, I just want your thoughts on it because you've been in the thick of it for the past few months. Like, is it naive to think of symbolic protests and, like films bringing about any actual change in the world?
Okay. No, I don't think it's naive. You know, this movie made me believe I used to think like this. I used to think like this, but this movie uh, give me faith in the power of cinema in a way, because I saw with my proper eyes the change that can operate on people, you know, when they watch this movie. There is something deeply changing in them, you know. Uh, it's not, you know, the decisive changing, because film can't order ceasefire or can't order uh, you know, justice or no, but it's this kind of change that can build on something longer in the long term. So yeah, I believe cinema can change. Cinema is a powerful tool because it goes directly in the mind and the heart of people, and yeah, it can change, and at least change the way we see the world.
Right. I mean, what I meant to ask was if it can bring about like change in the world in terms of like I'm sure like it can affect the audiences, but like can it like is that something that you've thought about? Like the more you've been around with the film, like uh for example, uh, like the Berlinale just like completely like shut all conversation around Palestine or Gaza or like so many of these like festivals are trying to like compartmentalize the artistry from the politics as uh, I meant it more like that, like if I'm sure like the Voice of Hind Rajab, the more people are watching it, they're coming out affected by it. But is it like, do you think it can like bring about like change in policy, which seems a little, I don't know if does it seem a little far-fetched for you, or are you hopeful? Like what is it like?
I don't know if you're asking me about the future, but you know what
Yeah, fair enough.
in Berlinale or even Cannes before, you know, at some point Thierry
Yeah,
Frémaux said, don't want a political festival.
yeah,
It's a very, very, how to say, useless attempt, you know, for big festival to look away from Palestine, because for Ukraine, for example, there is no problem. You know,
yeah,
Zelensky was talking in the opening of Cannes Film Festival, but also in the
yeah,
Berlinale. For Iranian, it's the same. You know, there is no problem. The only problem is Palestinian. Because Europe is the reason of all this. There is something about
yeah,
history. There is something very shameful, you know.
of course.
So the relationship is very complicated, and European are by shutting the Palestinian voice are doing again what they did, you know, as a colonial power. It's new
Right,
colonialism, you know. So,
right,
and it's useless. For example, we saw that in the Berlinale, the Palestinian voices are present, you know, and you want to shut them down, they spoke and they rise. You have Abdallah Al Khatib who won and he did a great speech. You have also the Golden Beer for a short movie, the Lebanese director. So,
yes.
you know, we know it's useless to shut the voices of people.
Absolutely, absolutely. Kaga, I don't know if you are aware, but we're facing, like censorship issues of our own in India with respect to films emerging from Gaza. a lot of documentaries, they've kind of like been pulled. They've not been allowed to be screened at like various the film festivals that we have around India. Like, are you hopeful that the film gets a wide release here? And like, what are your plans if like centers like India, they don't allow you to release the film widely?
Till now, the Indian distributor don't have what you call it,
Any problems?
an
Yeah.
approval,
All
to
right.
distribute the movie, which is very concerning. We don't know what is happening, but we have an Indian distributor. The movie is released all over the world, and we still don't have a release date. At least this is what I know till now. I don't know if Shania can correct me. This is what I heard. Maybe I'm wrong. You can double check. But yeah, I've heard about this in India. It's very sad, It's
Yeah.
very sad because yeah, because we are like there is I don't know what is happening in India, but I know that all over the world, I see it in Europe, for example, you have the far right coming to the power, and the far right have this deep connection to Israel and deep
Yeah.
fascination with Israel, because it's an
Yeah.
example, as I said, of
Yeah.
uh, power. Let's have the
Yes.
biggest gun. This is the world we live in, and this world I don't want to live in. This kind of association or partnership between all the far right, national, ethnocentric, ideology is a very, very scary word.
Right. Right. Kathar, like, is there a plan in case you don't get the approval to like screen the film in India? Like, do you have any alternate plans in motion? Maybe in talks with streaming services, maybe that you'd like the film to release in?
In India, you mean?
In India, yes.
Yeah. For the moment, I don't have any plan because I don't know when the movie will be released, and this
Okay.
is, something important. Maybe when I know when the
Fair
movie,
enough. Fair enough.
or will it be released at all? Yeah, I
Yeah.
would love to come and the Indian audience. This is something that I would love really to do.
Right. 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 Like final question. I'm just gonna like wrap this conversation up. Like, I just wanted to ask you about, like the benefit of having a lot of A-listers. They kind of enlisted as executive producers for your film, which got the film a lot of visibility. So can you like tell me a little bit about, like the benefits of having like A-list names and in your executive producing credits? And is there any downside to any of that?
Um, when we finish the editing, so those executive producers have no money input, financial input or creative input. When we
Fair.
finished the editing, we were thinking that, this is the kind of movie that can easily be put in a niche thing, so by many few people. It's with subtitle. We don't have stars. It's about a very, 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 very tragic story.
Yes.
So it can easily be very invisible.
Yeah.
And I did this movie to make this little girl visible, to make
Yeah.
her voice, to make people who are not interested, in what
Yeah.
is happening in Gaza, and to make them care in a way.
Yeah.
So how you do this in our world? You try to have some push from celebrities.
Right.
So we contacted them when we ended the editing, hoping maybe one of them will say yes. But we were really, really surprised when all of them watched the movie. All of them wanted to support the movie, and this is how we found ourselves with those credits. But it's still continuing because 1 month ago or more, we had Spike Lee and Michael Moore joining the list of executive producers.
Wow. Wow, wow. Is there any can there be any downside to this? Like like the excessive visibility for a film like this?
Is there an impact, you mean, of
Yeah,
this?
is there an impact? Can there be a negative impact to this? Like having so
Uh,
many A-list names?
Negative impact, I don't remember any negative impact, but when the news was out before Venice Festival, everybody was talking about the movie. This the
Yeah,
celebrity effect, you know.
yeah,
Everybody was talking about waiting. What is this movie about Gaza? And you have Joaquin Phoenix and Brad Pitt and
yeah,
Jonathan Glazer, Alfonso Cuarón. You know, you have this curiosity, you know,
yeah,
about the movie, and was important because you know this is the kind of the movie you will not choose to watch it for your evening because it's not the feel good movie of the moment, but it's important to
absolutely.
to watch it. So the step to go and watch it is a little bit complicated, you know, because when people
Yeah,
watch it, they recommend it to their friends, you know, but you have
yeah.
always the fear to go and watch it. And this celebrity thing, like, make this gap, this step a little bit easier, let's say.
Fair, fair. Kaouther, I just want to thank you for your time, and I just want to leave you with like a little bit of an anecdote from when I was watching the film last night. I was really glad I was watching it on my laptop because I think like at a 35-minute point is when I was just like I was getting really anxious, and I kind of I was glad that I could pause the film and I could just like take it all in what I'd watched in the last 35 minutes. And I don't think I would have this luxury if I was in a theater. I wouldn't have the luxury to walk out at the 35-minute mark. But I guess that would have been a different experience altogether. Uh, Thank you for your film. It's such an important film, and all the best for the Oscars. I'm really looking forward to what happens, and I really wish you the best for the film's release all around the world, especially in India.
Thank you very much.